Alright, what is going on, folks? Welcome back to the one and only Wrestling Otaku channel, your personification of excellence on YouTube and YWC, and I'm back here. It is officially Thursday night, August the 7th of 2025. Hope you all had a good one so far. So I'm here today to talk about the Ravens preseason opening game. Of course, for most teams, the preseason starts today. Of course, we had the Hall of Fame game last Thursday. That was between the Chargers and the Lions. And now here this week, we have the official start of preseason week 1. So NFL season is indeed upon us. I mean, we're in the first week going into the second week of August, so, you know. But so the Ravens played their preseason opener. They played at home tonight versus the Indianapolis Colts, and they just won it. The game just wrapped up. The Ravens got the victory by a final score of 24-16, and I just want to give my thoughts on this game because I did watch the majority of it. I missed most of the first half or most of the first quarter, but I did catch the rest of the game for the most part while I was on my computer, but I was watching back and forth between what I was watching on my laptop and the game on the TV. And so the Ravens did get the victory here, so they come out, so they did, granted it's preseason again, these wins don't matter, but the Ravens get the victory nonetheless. But I'll say it wasn't a very exciting game by any stretch, not a very, in terms of the Ravens as an offense, not a very impressive outing. Defensively, they made some plays, one of their, second, third string, rookie linebackers got an interception late. A couple defensive guys, did a few things of note. David Ojabo got a sack. He had a couple of solid tackles. You got to see, our first round and second round picks, Mike Green and Malachi Starks, early in the game. But obviously, this is preseason game 1, none of the starters played. Lamar wasn't out there, so on and so forth. It was mostly backups, rookie players and our backups and, practice squad guys, second, third string guys who were playing. But not an exciting game by any stretch. Certainly not an impressive game in terms of the Ravens offense. Now, the Ravens run game was decent enough. They had over 100 yards rushing, led by Keaton Mitchell. He had 68 yards on the ground, had a TD, had a touchdown run or two. But the Ravens only had in this game 60 yards passing total. Devin Leary, the starter for this game, I think it was the starter for this game or whatever. I don't know if he was the starter or if it was Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush only, had 4 snaps or only passed the ball 4 times. But Devin Leary, 3 for 12 for what was it? I got the stats right here in front of me. Devin Leary fucking looked atrocious. 3 for 12 for 43 yards and an interception. That is fucking abysmal, dude. That is ridiculous. And Cooper Rush wasn't much better. He was the 2 for 4 for 10 yards or 16 yards, and he had an interception. So the Ravens quarterbacks are not looking too impressive. Outside of Lamar Jackson, I swear, if something happens to Lamar, this team is in dire straits, because Devin Leary looked like absolute garbage in this game, and so did Cooper Rush. He barely even played. Again, I don't know if something happened in the first quarter or, Cooper Rush only played the first couple snaps, because obviously Cooper Rush is the backup. But this Devin Leary guy is fucking dreadful. 3 for 12 for 43 yards throughout he played 3 quarters. He played the majority of the back end of the game, and it was fucking abysmal. I get it. It's preseason. I get that. I understand these games don't matter. I understand this is a very run-heavy team, the defense-oriented team and all that. But holy shit, dude. 43 yards and an interception on 3 for 12 passing, that is fucking atrocious. I'm being serious. And offensively, outside of, like I said, Keaton Mitchell, 68 yards, the Ravens' offense was not impressive at all. They're lucky they won this game. I think most of it was, again, the run game, Keaton Mitchell and, a couple other guys rushed pretty well. They had over, like I said, 100 yards rushing, because they only had 220 or so yards total as a team. Most of that was rushing. And also, one of their rookies, LaJohntay Wester, had an 80-yard punt return for a touchdown, which, that was a big, part of the game. That was a big part of the Ravens' offense as well, a big part of their surge. And they had some, like I said, some defensive plays. They had a couple of interceptions. But outside of that, it's or one or two interceptions. But outside of that, it's not an impressive game, not a very noteworthy game. But the Ravens won, so it is what it is on that. And like I said, it's preseason, and not it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it's just me nitpicking. But just on the surface, based on what I've seen throughout this game, I was not really impressed with their second string players, at least on offense. Keaton Mitchell did all right, but he's like what, their third string running back basically, behind obviously Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. So yeah, so he was all right. And like I said, they had a few plays on defense. Interception. Like I said, they had a couple sacks. Outside of that, nothing really of note. Nothing really of note happened in this game. So that's pretty much it. Tyler Loop, our new kicker, because again, Justin Tucker's no longer with the team because of that whole bullshit with the allegations against him. He was released from the team during the offseason, and that was a big reason why the Ravens drafted Tyler Loop in the first place in the NFL draft this year. That's why we got a new kicker. So Tyler Loop went 1 for 2. He made a field goal. He missed one. So even he, was kind of not really, but like the field goal he missed was pretty close. It was only like a 30-40 yard field goal, and he fucking missed it. He hooked it wide left, wide left, and the one he made was quite a bit longer. So it's not like the dude doesn't have the ability. It's just like he needs to work on his accuracy. And again, that's a concern going into the season because this dude is going to be our new kicker going forward. So I don't know, I just it's kind of a mixed bag of feelings, just watching this preseason game. But again, I just got to be honest with you with my assessment and what I saw. But the Ravens, they win by 8 points here. They get the victory. They get the dub in their first preseason game at home versus the Indianapolis Colts, 24-16. And so that is what it is. Like I said, the starters didn't play. It was mostly, again, backups, practice squad, rookie players and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what they do week 2. Hopefully it goes a little better. Maybe we'll see some more of the rookies. I want to see more of what, Malachi Starks and Mike Green, for example. I want to see more of them and, the other guys that the Ravens drafted. So, this was again nothing more than being akin to a practice game. So I don't hold a lot of stock in it, but just seeing that offense, only having 60 combined yards passing is pretty bad. Even for a preseason game, only having 60 yards passing is pretty bad. So I mean, that's just abysmal. But again, maybe it's just me nitpicking. It is a preseason game. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But that's just my assessment. That's just what I'm seeing. So I just got to be honest with you. So that is pretty much it for that. Those are my thoughts on it. So we'll see what happens moving forward. So the Ravens next week, I'm not sure who they're. I really don't know the preseason schedule. I haven't really paid attention to it. So if I could just click here. So next up, they play on the road next Saturday, August 16th. They play at the Cowboys. So that'll be their week 2 matchup. So we'll see what happens in Dallas. We'll see what the Ravens do next week in Dallas. Hopefully they'll do better. Hopefully we see more from the rookies, the rookies that they drafted this year from the 2025 NFL draft class. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say for that. So the Ravens win, not an impressive game or a noteworthy game or necessarily a memorable, exciting game, but the Ravens get it done. They get the victory here versus the Colts at home by a final score of 24-16, and that's going to wrap up the Ravens Week 1 preseason. Or Week 1 in preseason. Their Week 1 game in the preseason. So that's pretty much it for that. So that's all I got to say for this. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. Got more content. And again, tomorrow I made a post about this tomorrow. I will be at Otakon, and of course, that is going to be a big anime convention. Very excited, and I will be basically taking pictures, taking some videos. And I'll be uploading a full vlog of that. And, my full experience at Otakon 2025. That'll be on my anime channel, Fancy Man Reviewer. So, and also next weekend, a week from Saturday, I will be at my first ever TNA show. So very exciting next week. The next week and a half for me is going to be pretty busy, pretty fun. But anyway, that's all I got to say for this video, so thank you for watching again. Be sure to leave a like on this video, leave a comment, give me your thoughts on the game if any of you watched it. Give me your thoughts on anything I've talked about here. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support I can get. With that being said, it's pretty much going to do it. So that's going to be it for me for this video, recapping the Ravens Week 1 preseason victory over the Colts, 24-16, and that is going to do it for now. So until next time, this has been the Rest of the Taco. I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.